All right, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. I apologize. I had some technical difficulties and now I'm ready to get started on fundamental analysis as it pertains to the Forex market, trading in the Forex market. So join me. Please share this with somebody that you know who's trading in the Forex market, who wants to know a little bit more about fundamental analysis. What's its purpose? I'm going to place my disclaimer right here. I am not an expert. I'm simply a trader. I'm always a student, as one that I've learned from, Daisy Duncan with iMarkets Live has helped me to see. I'm always a student. I just like to share some things that I've learned along the way with trading with the Forex market. I will say this, not everyone conducts fundamental analysis. Some people don't even look at it and will, find themselves just simply trading price action. It doesn't matter what the news says to them, no big deal. However, what I've found with trading is sometimes central bank news actually makes a difference in a trade. And so I, for one, tend to look at that news. I want to share something with you about selecting currency pairs and then conducting fundamental analysis. There are a number of currency pairs that you can trade in the Forex market. What I've chosen to do for myself as a trader is to focus on just a couple of pairs. What I want to do for this particular training is to share with you how I conduct fundamental analysis on a particular currency pair. All right. So please make sure you share with somebody. And I'm going to say that you can post your comments on YouTube while we're going through this. I will also, I'm trying to see, I believe that my Zoom is going through right now. So what I'm going to try to do is see if, yes, I have some people on. Hi, Benita, Latanya, how are you? Glad y'all could join me today. Get more people who are joining me via YouTube. I'd also like to say, please put your name in the chat so I can see who's participating. It would do my heart so much joy just to see who I'm speaking to, who I'm sharing with today. So please feel free to drop your name in the chat for me. I'd appreciate it. Again, we've got 11 people watching us online right now. You can share this broadcast with somebody. Hello, it says Murchie. I hope I'm saying that right. Glad you could join me. But we're talking fundamental analysis. And before we get started, I just kind of like to know from you what exactly the kind of trader you are. If you already know the kind of trader you are, what do you use fundamental analysis for? So you can chat right here with me. Let me know. Great. I'm glad that you inviting somebody, you're telling somebody to go ahead and join us. Thank you. But I'm going to place something right here. I can say that in the chat. I want to know, what kind of trader are you? Okay. So I want you to keep that in mind as I'm sharing with you right now. The kind of trader you are really does make a difference in whether or not daily news is going to affect you. Very good. Thank you, Latanya. She said, I'm more of a scalper. Very good. So certainly if you're a scalper, this is certainly something you're going to want to pay attention to, the news, because you're in and out. And so news comes, and when the news comes, it can be very quick. It could be a long time, but certainly, thank you, Letitia. She likes scalping as well. One of the things I found out with conducting fundamental analysis, for me as a trader, not everybody's this way, but for me as a trader, I look at the news over a period of 30 days to see how it affects a currency pair. Now, when I first started learning how to trade, this was the furthest thing from my mind. And I had nobody really to sit down and tell me that it's important for me to conduct fundamental analysis. I listened to some master traders who said for them, it's a no-brainer. They're going to conduct fundamental analysis as well as technical analysis. So for everyone listening today, fundamental analysis is simply paying attention to the news, economic news, and how it affects a currency pair, how it affects a country's currency. Now, we had some news to come out on yesterday late that may in fact have some bearing on USD pairs. And that is the summit with South Korea, not South Korea, with, oh, y'all know what I'm trying to say, with is it North Korea. Kim Jong-un and our president has decided to come together, and the summit is back on. So there are talks. So, you know, people are not running scared about the US dollar right now. So you may see a spike in the value of the dollar. Keep that in mind. She said, well, I guess, all right, I'm a scalper. Well, scalping just simply means you're watching time frames like the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, and you're getting in and out of trades quickly. Okay, that's what scalping is all about. You're looking to get about anywhere from 2 to 5 pips per trade. Okay, if you're looking for anything longer than that, you may want to trade the 1 hour time frame or higher. Okay, sounds good. Okay, I'm yawning here and I'm not going to be doing this for long, but I do want to share this with you real quick. Let's go ahead and look at fundamental analysis. This is where I conduct my analysis, okay? So I'm going to share my screen with you. I use a couple of websites, but the one I want to share with you right now is ForEx Factory, okay? So I want you to pay attention to what I do when I'm looking at this particular. So let me go here and go to forexfactory.com. This is what I do on a daily basis. The news that comes out, you actually have access to this 24 hours a day, and you can see from one day to the next whether or not there's going to be some news that may affect your currency rate. Okay. Now, what you're seeing right here, ForEx Factory has a number of tools that's available to you as an individual trader. I would admonish you to go to the website and just check out some of the things that they provide for you. Now, there are other websites that provide information like ForEx, My FX Book. My FX Book is one. But when I conduct fundamental analysis, I'm looking at economic news, okay? I can look at technical news as well, but fundamentally, I'm looking to see what's going on with the market as it pertains to the different countries' currency, its actual currency. And so, for example, I'm going to give you one that I trade, and that's GBP USD. What I will do is I'll look at the news today. Of course, the market, ahead of the market right now at about 4 o'clock my time. I'm looking here, and what do I see? One red folder. It's on AUD. Well, that market is getting ready to open at about 4 o'clock. So there's some news, high news, that is anticipated coming out. So if anybody is looking at trading AUD, you may want to pay attention to it. Some people may not, you know, and the reason why I would say pay attention to it, if you're already in a trade with AUD, let's say you had a rollover from the weekend, okay, this may affect your trade or may not. If you're going to be looking at getting into something with AUD, you may say, well, you know what, I'm going to wait until after the news comes out, then I'll trade. And that's good as well. Okay. One of the things I would admonish you on, however, is if you're going to trade, pay attention to this before you enter a trade so that you kind of get an idea. Okay, maybe I'll wait till afterwards. Now, what they're saying at about 8:30 Central Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Time, there's some news, retail sales. And this is what I do. Because it's a red folder, I'll click on the details so that I can see what this particular piece of news, how it's going to affect the currency. Okay, and if you'll notice, we have things over here that's called the specs or the specifics about it. These are things you want to pay attention to. What I usually pay attention to is the measure, its effect, and any notes about why a trader should care. So, of course, it tells you that this is the Australian Bureau of Statistics. That's the source, and that's something that would be important for you and I as a trader. Change in this total value of sales at the retail level. Change in the total value of sales at the retail level. That lets us know if people are buying. Retail, I want you to think about it. It tells us if the consumers are buying. If consumers are not buying, what do you think is going to happen to the currency? You know, the supply, when we understand supply and demand as it pertains to the currency and how it affects the currency, if the retail drops, the value of the currency will potentially drop. Now let's look at that. Usual effect. If the actual is greater than the forecast, then that's good for currency. What do they mean, Coach Ray? Right here. Let's pay attention to the actual, the forecast, and the previous. Back on May 7th, it was predicted, this is the forecast, it was predicted to have dropped from the previous. Okay, so we look at 6%. It was at 6% in May. Well, the forecast is that it's going to drop by 4%. Okay, and so, well, we won't say that. That's what it was in May. So this was actually looking at April. This was actually April. It was projected to drop by 2%. It actually came in at what? 0. So it was bigger than, it lost all of it. The previous was 6%. It lost all of that. The actual was much less. Okay, so if it was less, then that would say something happened to the what? Australian dollar. The value should have decreased. We should probably see a spike in anything where AUD is paired with. If AUD USD, because it's the stronger one, right? It's the stronger of the two. We would have been selling AUD and buying GBP. I mean, buying USD. Selling AUD, buying USD. Let's go and look and see what happened back in May. On May the 7th, what I would do is go back and look at the chart for that particular time frame. That came out around, let's go back and look at the chart and see when it was coming out. And then what we can do is pay attention to how the rate was affected. Okay, and this is what I do when I'm conducting the analysis. So we had this again at 9:30 back in May. It was projected to rise. See that? It was projected to rise. And it came out at 6%. That's great. So we understand that May was projected to drop about 4%, but it actually dropped 6%. So let's see what actually happened. It was 6%. This is the 6%. This is April. Okay. It was projected to drop to 2%, which is 0.2%. Okay. It was projected, but it came in at 0. So we should expect to see AUD spike a little bit, not spike up, but actually drop. So let's go look at one of our charts. I'm going to look at JFAX, and I'll look at May the 7th at 9:30 p.m. What time is that actually? I've got to see, because I think TradingView is the one that gives me that. So bear with me just a moment. Let me go to TradingView. And what we want to do is look at the calendar and the time frame. So 9:30 p.m. Eastern, which would be 8:30 my time. So I'd have to go back. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let me try to find this chart. Good, I'm trying to. Let me see if I can change here. I'm going to change that to Chicago time. Well, New York. Let's go with New York because that's going to be Eastern. Okay. Very good. And we want to go back to May the 7th. We're looking for May the 9. This is May the 9th. Bear with me. Let's see. This is 9 o'clock. I don't want to do that. Okay, so this would be 9:30, right? On 4/9, we need to go to 4/7. 4/6. 4/6. Oh, I thought I said, oh no, not 4/6. I need May. My apologies, y'all. We need May 7th. I'm looking at all of this wrong. May. Still in April. Still in April. My apologies. May. Okay, here we are, May 7th. And May the 4th, May the 7th, and we need 9:30, 10:30. There we go, right here. Okay, so what happened? We see a May 7th at 9:30, which was a Sunday. Okay, and it gapped up. It gapped up, meaning that it opened here. It opened here, ladies and gentlemen, and went up. See, it closed down here on Friday, but it opened up here, and then it went up. So at 9:30, that's what it's showing us. That's 9. Is that? Wait, let me make sure. Yep, that's 9:30 right there on 5/7, and the value of it went down. It was projected to have gone down, if I'm correct, right? So I am not looking at the right. I'm looking at Apple. Y'all have to forgive me. I'm supposed to be looking at AUD USD. AUD. Let's look at AUD USD. Here's one right here. That's my fault. My apologies. May 7th. Need to go back a little bit. May 7th. Where are we? Oh, man. Hold on. Bear with me. I want to show you what I'm doing here. Have to move this down. Okay. Where is it? Okay, so here we are, May 7th, right here. And we need to go to 9:30. 8, 9, 10. My apologies there. I'm trying to get to 9:30 on May the 7th. I want to see the candlesticks. I need this volume brought down. Bear with me. There we go. That's my fault. We're almost there. Thank you for being patient. The because what I did was just picked up one. I want to show you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we want to go with what time? This is the 1 hour time frame. Let's look at the 30-minute time frame, and that'll help us. And 5, 7. Five, 7. That's 8. 5, 7, 13. I need 939. Right here, guys. I am so sorry. Okay. So we looked at AUD, USD. And so the news said, I just want to show you something. The news said, we'll put a line right here. Okay, we want this one. Okay, that's going to be the 9:30. Okay, thank y'all so much. Let's move over to Forex Factory again. And on that day, it dropped. AUD dropped. So if AUD dropped, what should I be doing? I would be buying USD and selling AUD. So here's the question. This is what you'll look at. It says if the actual is greater than the forecast, then it's good for currency. The actual was not greater than the forecast. Okay. And then it says here, why is it important? It's the primary gauge of consumer spending, which accounts for the majority of overall economic activity. Well, when I go back and I look at what the chart showed me for AUD, it dropped. You would think that it's supposed to drop, right? Well, let me show you what it did. When the market opened on Sunday, 9:30, it went up, it gapped up. Well, it didn't gap up here. No, it just opened here. It opened in a buy, went up. But what do you notice to happen? This is a 30-minute time frame. It did what it should have done, basically. It went into a sale. Now, what if you didn't have that information? What if you didn't have that information? Because the next day, here is 10 o'clock. On the 8th, that's when it started. Well, you had a big drop right here. You had a big drop here. I think I'm looking at this right. Yeah, you had a big drop. So that news affected that particular trade. Now, my question to you is, would you have known that? Would you have been in that trade had you not known the news or known the news? That's the question that I would ask you. Would you still have gotten in the trade? And so I just want to point out to you what the news can do to your trade, how it can affect it. If a person, and let me go back to the chart and show you, what would people have been doing on this particular? So we're looking at 5-7 at, this is 9:30, and then it shot up. Then it dropped, went into consolidation, pulled up, and then we had a major drop right here. Now, here's something significant. Although you had that particular news, let's go through Forex Factor and see if AUD had any other news that could have predicted this move because that's a lot of money. It was down here, ladies and gentlemen. If we take this, yeah, it was down here. Wow. That's a lot of pips. But let's look at it. Let's go back and let's check the news on that particular week. Any questions you may have for me, please let me know. Let me move this. Okay. That was, oh, my apologies. That was Monday. Yeah, Monday evening. Let's look at AUD and see if we had any additional. So Tuesday the 8th, we're looking right here at 5:30 a.m. on Tuesday, the annual budget release. Apparently did not come out with any major news that we know of. They didn't show any. But you can go back and if you were to look to see if AUD had some news effects later that day. No. Mm-hmm. So then we look at Wednesday. Nothing for AUD on Wednesday. Thursday. I'm looking at nothing for AUD. We have a yellow folder, home loans. The yellow folders or the orange ones don't usually affect trades as the red ones do. But what I want to share with you is that you choose a currency pair, conduct this analysis for 30 days. I want GBP USD. Look at this, the official bank rate, this GDP. Then you have all this news, inflation, the bank rate votes, all of that. I would not be in a trade until after whatever they're going to say comes out. So I'll know how it's going to affect the currency. It's very important for me as a successful trader is to be able to conduct fundamental analysis. What does the economic news say about my currency? Okay. Now I want to show you one other website that I use in conducting analysis. Forex Factory is one, but then I also use economies.com because one of the things I trade is a major pair. This particular website gives you insight, a little technical as well as fundamental analysis, okay? Kind of gives you, if you trade one of the major pairs, it gives you some information that I think is very helpful in trading. Because I trade GBP USD, I just simply will click on it. Let's go with Forex. Here's the economic calendar if you want to look at it. Forex news if you're looking for it. One of the things I use over here is technical analysis. Let me show you how I couple the technical with the fundamental. And remember, these are the currency pairs for Forex that you'll find information on. Euro USD, Bitcoin, NZD USD, GBP USD, USD JPY, USD CAD, USD the Swiss franc, AUD USD, Euro JPY, and GBP JPY. You'll get this information that I think is pertinent. Okay. So there was some news that came out about Euro USD yesterday. I want to show you, this is the analysis. End of the day, they have the morning, the midday, and end of the day analysis on it. They even give you the technicals where you can actually look at what they were marking up, how they conducted their analysis. Okay. This is what I find important. The Euro USD pair hovers around the bearish channel's resistance and keeps its stability below it, as it shows some bearish bias now. To keep the bearish trend scenario active in the coming session, conditioned by the price stability below 1.1700, noting that we are waiting to visit even lower level, okay? So if you're trading Euro USD, this came out yesterday. I'm sorry, this came out Friday, the end of the day Friday. So when the market opens tomorrow, you're going to want to pay attention. If you're trading Euro USD, you want to really pay attention to that, okay? They're actually looking for the price to drop to 1.1553. I want you to keep that in mind, okay? They will also give you analysis on gold, platinum, copper, silver, and oil if you trade any of those pairs. But I really like economies.com because it gives me a bigger picture than just the fundamentals. So I couple those two together. Let me show you what I mean by that. I take GBP USD analysis, and then I go back and I look at the fundamentals from ForEx Factory, and then I'll decide how I'm going to be trading in the coming session. Let me tell you. Okay, so I look at the technicals on GBP USD, and this was midday on Friday. Now, let me show you, because there's some news going to be coming out in the morning, early morning, that tells me a little bit more. So this was Friday, midday Friday. What happened with GBP? GBP pair rallies upward to breach that resistance level up there, and it approaches the second key resistance affected by stochastic positivity, which urges caution from the upcoming trading, as breaching the last level will stop this morning's suggested negative scenario and turns the intraday trade to rise. Until now, we're still suggesting the bearish bias domination in the upcoming sessions, conditioned by the price stability below 1.3340, noting that our next main target is located at 1.3226. What does that say? It's still looking at a bearish trend. So if I'm trading on the 1 hour time frame or even higher, I want to look at this information and say, oh, okay, they're predicting a bearish move. So I'm going to be looking at Monday's information on GBP USD. Looking at forexfactory.com real quick. And then we're gonna wrap this up. Okay, so today is the 3rd. Let's look at tomorrow morning. What does it look like for me to trade GBP USD? Okay, so I have something on construction. This is what I want to look at. So it's really 3:30 my time. It is projected to lose about 0.5 of 0.5 of a move. It says the level of diffusion index based on surveyed purchasing managers. If the actual is greater than the forecast, and that's good for currency, then I go down to why traders care. It's a leading indicator of economic health. Businesses react quickly to market conditions, and their purchasing managers hold perhaps the most current and relevant insight into the company's view of the economy. So that's pretty significant. So I'll be watching this construction PMI, okay? We're going to be watching that in the morning, because one of the things it's suggesting is just going to drop 0.5 point. But what will I do with that information? All I need to do is go back 30 days and see, because it was May the 2nd, it was projected to rise 3 points, and it almost got there. So I would then go and look and see, how did the currency rate, how was this particular news affecting the currency rate? Did it affect the currency rate? So a lot of people may not understand the fundamentals, and it can get boring, and it can get, like, I don't feel like doing this. But if you want to be a successful trader, Coach Ray would tell you, listen, guys, one of the things you want to do is make sure you stick with it. Conduct the fundamental analysis. It's pertinent. Conduct the fundamental analysis. But Benita, very good. I'm glad that you can see that now. I'm glad that, and hopefully this will help. You need, okay, I'm not sure where you're calling from. Okay, what you could do is reach me on Telegram. I'm Coach Ray on Telegram. You can reach me there, okay? Let's see, I can't get into the trade yet. I'm not set up properly. Okay, are you a part, Murchie, are you a part of iMarkets Live? Okay, I'm speaking on YouTube. I'm not sure if she's there. Okay, so what I've done is just tried to share what I do with fundamental analysis, how I go and I look at those two sites. And there are other sites that you can look at. I did want to share the two that I look at and how I go and look at Forex Factory and then come over and compare that with economies.com, looking at the news, trying to get a feel for what's the market may do based on some other experts. And I think it's important that you and I learn to do that and be okay with trading based on what economic news brings to the table. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for me? Very good. I'm glad I was able to help some. Fundamental analysis, I think it must be conducted. You cannot not do it if you're going to be a successful trader. That's what I say. Now, some people may disagree with me, and that's fine. But I do them both. Okay, and I've been successful at using both fundamental and technical analysis combined. Are y'all able to see my comments? All right. Well, I'm glad that you all were able to. Hopefully, it helps somebody. Hopefully, it helps somebody today. And that's going to be it for this particular session on conducting fundamental analysis with Forex trading. The two websites that I use. If you have any questions, please leave them for me or your comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Again, thank y'all so much. Appreciate it, and y'all have a great afternoon. I'm out of here. I am trying to end this session. Let's see here. Here we go.